Hey everyone, doing a review on a Nordictrack commercial X32i treadmill we got 3 months ago. We decided to treat ourselves and upgrade our treadmill, and we got the S22i bike. And for the most part, we're not happy with either one. I'm just going to touch base on the treadmill. Like I said, we're excited to get this. We ordered it on March 19th, right when the Corona stuff was just starting to happen. And several of the reasons we ordered this was, one, for this great big 32-inch screen. That was the main reason. I like big TVs and stuff. So, also the interactive fitness, the iFit, was moderately priced compared to Peloton. It was more affordable. Has a high incline. And the Google Maps feature, I thought that would be pretty cool. And we had a Nordictrack Viewpoint 3000. It lasted 12 years, and I only had to replace a drive belt, and it was still working when we got rid of it. And plus, this was deemed to be commercial, so I'm guessing, hey, it's built forever. Unfortunately, there's been nothing but problems. So we got this on March 19th, 2020. It was delivered on, I ordered it then. It was delivered on March 26th, and paid $200 for the white glove delivery. It was the only option. It was actually the last week they were offering it because of the COVID-19 stuff going on. But unfortunately, July 1st, it died. My wife got on it and she heard like a zapping noise. So it lasted 96 days. I looked at the screen once it got fixed, and it was only 62 hours we used it for, and just a little over 300 miles. When they delivered it, the guys came, pulled up in a white box truck, and didn't look like Nordictrack guys, and honestly I wasn't. A lot of companies can't afford to have their own employees deliver stuff like Peloton and everything. So they put it together, and with the COVID stuff going on, I wasn't down here, I wasn't paying attention, and when they put it together and I came down, I looked at it, everything looked good. I didn't want to be in here too long. My plan was to turn the exhaust fan on and keep the door shut, come down in the morning, wipe it down with some bleach wipes, and have at it. So I came down next morning and got on here, set up the accounts and everything. It's pretty easy. One of the first things I noticed was this bar here. There's some screws on the other side. Can't really see them, but they were missing, and so this was falling off. So I was a little ticked I didn't catch that when the install guys. So I had to call up, told Nordictrack, they said they'd send me some new screws. Took 2 months, hadn't heard anything. Called them back again, and they finally said they would ship some out, and a week later they finally came. So I was a little ticked about that. The install guys, they messed up the bike, but that'll be a different video. So I got everything working, and I just want to go through and talk about the specs on this machine. So, I mean, it's pretty good. It does lag a little bit. I'm used to when you get new technology like a new iPad, it's instant. I know this is also internet based and everything, and I'll show you the Wi-Fi speed test I've done and everything. Here's, if you go through, it'll go through and you can see everything going on there. It's acceptable, but I mean, for what they're charging for $4,000, I would be expecting, you know, instant going through, not waiting 1 to 2 seconds. I could live with that. That's not a deal breaker. But I did go through, and here, let me show you my Wi-Fi setup. So, here, I'm going to do a Wi-Fi test and show you that we're about 40. This morning was 130. It varies time of day. Son's on Call of Duty, so I'm sure that's eating into it. So a decent connection. It's not that bad at all. However, there is a lot of buffering issues I've noticed while, especially my wife running on the treadmill and me on the bike, where it buffers and you just keep running and you can't see the video. And occasionally, I haven't seen it on the treadmill, but on the bike, it'll reboot. And then you'll notice when you start a workout, there's a guy that's already ran 7 miles and you're 2 seconds in. So that poor guy had his machine reboot during the workout. So we're looking at 46 MB. The picture on the screen is amazing, but it takes a while for it to go through and buffer. So if we go through and we search, let's go back to home and we'll do this tunnel beach walk. So it comes up, and click start workout, goes through, asks you to accept the terms, and then it'll give you a warm-up period. You click that. So at first when this started, it was very grainy, and I was a little disappointed. I was like, this quality really isn't there. It looks better actually when looking into my iPhone as I record this, but it's grainy. And you'll see that, you know, we're 21 seconds into it. The sound is actually pretty good. Let me turn that down. So it's still grainy in the picture, and it's because it's downloading. Usually around 52 seconds, you'll see the picture click to high def, and then it's done buffering.
Welcome back to iFit here in New Zealand. I'm your iFit guide, Graham McTavish, and we're going to be walking
so now it's
along
crystal clear.
Beach.
So it took 52 seconds
Another gorgeous day
for this to go through and be done with the buffering. I think that's a little uncalled for with today's technology. I reached out to Nordictrack and asked them what the specs were, what kind of Wi-Fi chips they were using, and all that, and they refused to answer me. So you can bring up the iFit on your iPad for people who just have iFit and not a Nordictrack treadmill. So here is an example of the same workout that I just did. So you see it looks pretty similar. However, when this one kicks off on an iPad Air 2, it's like 3 years old, instantly it's clear. There's no buffering issues or nothing. So that's telling me that the Wi-Fi chips that they're using in these machines are subpar, because it's the same distance and everything. The only thing that's different is I'm using an iPad rather than this brand new treadmill. One of the other reasons we got this was I thought it would be cool to do the Google Maps runs. My wife, she does half marathons and 5Ks, stuff like that. So I figured it'd be nice for her to map out and she'd be able to go through and run the elevation before the race and stuff. However, when I went and got in there, the Google Maps is kind of just like you bring up Google Maps on your computer and you go to Street View and you keep clicking a button. I tried to run on a beach somewhere and it kind of gave me a headache because it's like you got a bunch of pictures going around you. So what you do is you go click, and let's click down here, and it'll tell you, this is actually pretty cool. When I first looked at it, I was like, all right. So save new workout, it's New York. Let's see what it looks like. So it kicked off in a few seconds. And once it loads, again, this takes pretty long for new equipment. Hit start workout, and I thought it was pretty cool that you could save this workout and like do it every day. So that aspect's pretty cool, but once you get into it, it loads Street View. So essentially this is what you would see on Street View, and then it starts changing the pictures as you walk. The only cool thing is it changes the incline based on the elevation in Google. So if you can run or walk to this with just random pictures changing, I don't find it enjoyable. I find the iFit's videos they do a lot more enjoyable than this. This kind of gives me a headache. Stop it now. So I was a little less impressed with that feature. iFit. iFit is amazing. When I had the older treadmill, I had the old school iFit chipset you would put in there. It would just change your miles per hour and your incline and go that way. This system is amazing. The trainers on it are great. I love the Chris Clark and the Cycling. Great guy. All of them are very motivational. They know their stuff. They tell you random facts if you're taking a hike. That's really cool. So I will give iFit credit for that. And the trainers, you guys are amazing. It's a great group. But everything else, just not there yet. So let's talk about the issue with the control board. Apparently a lot of people have been having this issue. My wife said on the Facebook group there's about 20 people complaining that their treadmill's dead. It's taken months. Nobody's coming out. I understand there's a pandemic going on, but you shouldn't be selling brand new expensive equipment and having it fail so quick. One of the things I noticed right away, and before it even died, I called up Nordictrack and was on the phone with them because it was shaking when I would go over 6 miles per hour. I don't know if you can tell under here, but the guy came out, he used zip ties on this cover, and this cover hits against something metal behind there. One of the guys on Facebook said he cut his off, and I'm sorry, but for $4,000, I'm not touching anything on this. I'll run here in a minute and show you how it shakes. Our service tech, who was a great guy, George, came out. He's an independent contractor. I think that's why I liked him. He was his own company, but you know, we tried it just on our rubber foam mats. This is 3/4. Then he told me to try like I did for the bike with the 1-bys underneath each of the feet. That didn't help. Tried it straight on the concrete, and that didn't help. Everything's level. You can see I'm shaking it, and the only thing that's shaking is up here, nothing down there. It just doesn't make any sense. But they went through and they replaced the control board. Actually, I kept it. It's right here. So this is the thing that's failing on. And it comes in and you got to flip the treadmill upside down and the tech changes it out and it seems to work fine. That is pretty unacceptable for new equipment. So I've been in contact with Nordictrack support for the last well over a month, and I'm not getting anywhere. I've asked them these questions about specifications. I asked them about, here's the model number. I blocked out my serial number so nobody out there knows it. But it says, one of the things I realized when going through the manual here, this says Nordictrack Commercial X32i. And right here it says for consumer use only. I thought that was odd because right in here it says on one of these that it's for commercial use only, that you should be using it at your home. So I'm not sure why they're calling it the commercial X32i, unless it's because they got that fancy commercial with somebody running on it. Let me set it up here and show you what it looks like when I run at a higher rate of speed. My wife likes the treadmill because she runs distance and she doesn't really go over that much. I don't have the time and I don't want to get on here and run for hours in. I want to run for 20 minutes tops. So I'm going to do a manual start. And it's loading the workout, and I'm just going to start out with a slight jog. And at first when I did the jog, I was like, oh, this is great because the motor's in the back, it flexes more up front. This is awesome. But as I warmed up and I started getting into like a minute, say, at speed 10, the thing started shaking. Check it out. I don't know about you, but that's cool. I would not expect that to have a commercial treadmill, especially one as expensive that this is. So I sent the video to the service manager and I asked her what they're going to do about the treadmill making this noise, and she said, we're going to order you some parts to fix it. I just talked to her today, sending somebody out for the bike to rebuild that because the guys stripped the screws out right there. So this thing shakes a lot. But she still hasn't gotten back to me. So I told her, I said, I'm going to put something out on YouTube, see if anybody else has issues like this. So, I mean, I know a lot of people are going to be like, you're nitpicking and everything, but you spend a lot of money on a treadmill. You try to run 8-10 miles an hour, it sounds like that, and it starts shaking. I have a water bottle in here, and that starts shaking. That's unreal. So I went through and I checked the manual, and to make sure everything, was set up correctly, and everything was, and the tech George, he said everything's fine, everything's level. I was reading the warranty because I was concerned that this thing online on their website says that the motor and the frame is a 10-year warranty. And I pulled up the warranty on my user manual. And I noticed right here in this first paragraph that it says the frame and the drive motor are warranted for the lifetime of the original purchaser. Parts and electronics are warranted for 6 years. And labor is warranted for 3 years. But on their website, it says 10 years for the frame, nothing about the motor, 3 years for parts, and 1 year for the labor. So I mentioned that to the service manager, and she said, I don't know why it would be like that. I'll have to let our web developers know so they can change it. That was 2 weeks ago. I just checked before I made this video. Online, it still says the lower numbers. I don't know why they would advertise lower numbers and give you more in here. That just baffles me. I don't know why that is. It could be an honest mistake, but everybody out there know that you probably don't need that extended warranty. That 6 years on parts, these are, as long as you know a little bit or somebody knows a little bit about electronics, you can replace them. 6-year warranty is pretty good, but I'm a little ticked that it didn't make it 96 days and then broke. If anybody can send me a video of maybe them running on treadmill, I weigh 180 pounds. This has a limit of 300 pounds. So I'm nowhere near the threshold of being, over the weight limit to run on this. My wife, she's like 50, 60, 70 pounds lighter than me. And when she runs over a 7, it doesn't shake as bad, but it makes the loud noise. So I'm in a boat. I wanted my money back. They refused to do that. I wanted them to send me a new treadmill. They refused to do that. So at this point, I'm left to go out and buy myself a new treadmill. My wife said she'd keep using this piece of junk. I said, you can have at it, but I'll get another treadmill and place it somewhere around here. So everybody, before you buy, make sure you do your research. There's a lot of issues going out there, and if you do have one of these, leave your comment in the comments below. Let me know what you're going through. Maybe we can all, talk to them and have them come through and fix these problems. But I hope nobody else has to go through this. Thanks for watching.